Sometimes, life's unexpected moments test us in ways we never imagine. What happens when hope, worry, and love collide in the quiet spaces between everyday challenges? In this heartfelt story, Diem battles exhaustion and uncertainty, while her husband Toan faces the fear of losing the woman he loves. Together, they navigate the tension of hope and reality, learning that family means more than just new beginnings. It's about being present for each other through it all. Subscribe now to follow their touching journey and discover how love truly conquers life's uncertainties. Over the past few days, Diem had not been feeling like herself. Her energy was low, her body ached in ways she couldn't quite explain, and even the simplest tasks felt unusually heavy. Most notably, she found herself struggling to keep up with her usually lively and cheerful routine. Taking care of their son, little Fat, who had recently caught a cold, only added to her exhaustion. Diem chalked it up to sleepless nights and the emotional toll of worrying about her child's health, but deep down, a quiet concern lingered. CEO Toan noticed immediately. As someone who rarely missed the smallest changes in Diem's behavior, he became more and more worried as the days went by. He had seen her tired before parenthood came with many such moments, but this felt different. She was pale, unusually quiet, and lacked her usual spark. Her appetite had decreased, and at times, she complained of dizziness. Toan tried not to jump to conclusions, but he couldn't help wondering if something more serious was going on. One night, after putting Fat to bed and watching Diem fall asleep almost instantly from exhaustion, Toan sat in the living room with his spots spinning. The soft hum of the baby monitor was the only sound in the quiet apartment. He reached for his phone and called the one person he trusted to speak to about this, his older sister. Shia, he began softly as she picked up the call. Diem hasn't been feeling well lately. His sister's voice, always calm and grounded, responded with concern. What do you mean? Is she sick? She's tired all the time, dizzy, not eating much. And Fat's been sick, so she hasn't been sleeping either, Toan explained. But still, it feels different. Not just tiredness. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking. There was a pause on the other end. Then his sister asked, carefully, do you think she could be pregnant again? Toan blinked. The thought had crossed his mind, but he hadn't dared to speak it out loud. Could that really be the reason? The idea filled him with both excitement and uncertainty. A second baby. It was something they had talked about casually but hadn't exactly planned for so soon. I don't know, he said finally. Maybe. Should I bring her to the hospital? I think you should, his sister said gently but firmly. Better to be sure. If she is pregnant, especially in the early stages, she needs proper care. And if she's not, then at least you'll know what's going on. Toan nodded, even though she couldn't see him. He felt a strange mixture of anxiety and hope brewing inside him. The thought of welcoming another child into their family was both thrilling and terrifying. But more than anything, he just wanted Diem to be okay. After ending the call, Toan returned to the bedroom and looked at Diem sleeping soundly. Her face, even in sleep, carried traces of fatigue. Gently, he pulled the blanket over her a little more and whispered, "We'll get you checked out tomorrow. Just to be sure." He lay down beside her, but sleep didn't come easily that night. His mind was filled with questions and quiet hopes. Whether it was a new beginning or just a passing illness, he knew one thing for sure: Diem's well-being came first. And whatever the result turned out to be, they would face it together. The next morning, Toan gently woke Diem with a soft touch on her shoulder. She opened her eyes slowly, clearly still tired. "Morning," she whispered, her voice raspy. Toan smiled at her, brushing a few strands of hair from her face. "I think we should go to the hospital today," he said softly, not wanting to alarm her. Diem blinked, surprised. "Why?" "I'm just tired. It'll pass." "I talked to my sister last night," Toan explained, sitting down on the edge of the bed. "She thinks it's better to get you checked. Just to be safe. Your symptoms, they could mean something else. And if it's what I think it might be, we'll need to know early." Diem gave him a puzzled look, then her eyes widened. "You think I might be pregnant?" Toan nodded slightly. "It's possible, isn't it?" She didn't respond right away. Her mind swirled with thoughts. It was possible, but she hadn't considered it seriously. The past few weeks had been so hectic with Fat being sick that she hadn't paid much attention to her own body. Now that he mentioned it, her cycle had been irregular. Could it really be? A few hours later, they found themselves at the hospital. Diem sat quietly in the waiting area while Toan filled out the forms. The white walls and sterile scent of the clinic made everything feel more serious. Diem stared at the floor, trying to keep calm, but her heart was beating faster than usual. She didn't know what result she wanted. Another baby? Already? Toan came back and took her hand. "They'll call us in soon," he said, giving her a reassuring squeeze. She nodded, offering a weak smile. When her name was called, Diem followed the nurse into the examination room. Toan waited outside, pacing slowly with a growing knot of nervousness in his stomach. Every passing minute seemed to stretch longer than the last. Was he ready to be a father again? Was Diem ready to go through the early stages of motherhood all over? Could they even manage 2 young children at once? Inside the room, the doctor conducted a few tests and asked Diem several questions about her recent symptoms. She explained everything: her fatigue, the headaches, the nausea. The doctor listened carefully, nodding. "We'll run a quick pregnancy test, just to be sure," the doctor said. Diem sat silently while they waited for the result. She stared at the small table, the white walls, the ticking clock. It felt like she was caught between two realities, one where she was pregnant again, and one where this was all just stress and exhaustion. Finally, the doctor returned with a calm smile. "You're not pregnant, DM," she said gently. "The symptoms you're feeling are most likely from physical and emotional fatigue. You've been caring for a sick child and probably neglecting your own rest. Your body is simply overwhelmed." DM let out a long breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. A strange wave of relief and disappointment washed over her all at once. When she stepped out into the hallway and saw Toan's expectant face, she shook her head slowly. "No baby," she said quietly. Toan's face softened. He gave a small nod and pulled her into a gentle hug. "Okay," he murmured. "At least we know. And now we can focus on getting you better." They walked out of the hospital hand in hand, under a sky that was just beginning to clear. Though the answer hadn't been what they imagined, there was something comforting in the certainty. Life would continue, with all its unpredictability and beauty, and with Fat, their little joy, waiting for them at home. On the drive home, neither of them spoke much. The car was filled with a quiet stillness, not uncomfortable, but reflective. DM leaned her head against the window, watching the world blur past. Her body still felt tired, but her mind was clearer now. The uncertainty was gone. Though the answer had not been what they might have secretly hoped for, there was still comfort in finally knowing. Toan glanced over at her a few times, his hand resting gently on her leg as he drove. "I know you're disappointed," he said finally, his voice low. "Me too. Just a little." DM smiled faintly without turning her head. "Yeah. I didn't realize how much I had started to hope until I heard the doctor say no." She turned to look at him. "Is that silly?" He shook his head. "No. Not at all. I hope too." They pulled into the driveway of their home just as the sun was beginning to lower behind the trees, casting a warm golden hue across the yard. Inside, the soft sounds of laughter and toys clinking greeted them. DM's mother had been looking after Fat while they were gone, and the little boy ran to the door as soon as he saw his parents, arms outstretched. "Mommy! Daddy!" DM scooped him up, holding him close, breathing in the sweet, familiar scent of her child. All the fatigue, all the lingering sadness began to melt the moment she held him. Toan stepped beside her, wrapping one arm around both of them, as if to shelter his entire world in that one gesture. They spent the rest of the evening as a family, playing on the floor with building blocks, laughing at Fat's funny expressions, and reading bedtime stories together. When Fat finally drifted off to sleep, curled up in his blanket with his favorite stuffed bear, Toan and DM sat quietly on the couch, a cup of warm tea in each of their hands. "I guess it's okay," DM said, almost to herself. "We're not ready for another baby yet anyway. Fat still needs us so much." Toan nodded. "Yeah. And you need to take care of yourself too. You've been doing so much." She gave him a tired smile. That's what being a mom is. He looked at her seriously. I know. But I want to be more present too. I don't want you burning yourself out. We're in this together, remember? His words wrapped around her like a blanket. In that moment, she felt the weight of everything, the fatigue, the doubts, the what-ifs, lighten just a little. They hadn't gotten the surprise they imagined, but they had something just as real, a life built on love, shared responsibility, and their beautiful, healthy son. Toan reached over and took her hand. One day, he said softly, we'll try again. When the time is right. Diem squeezed his hand in return. Yeah. And maybe next time, it won't be a scare, it'll be real. They both laughed gently, the tension easing between them. The road ahead was still full of unknowns, but for now, they had each other, and that was enough. Later that night, as they peeked into Fat's room one last time before bed, they stood silently by his crib. The little boy stirred and then settled, peaceful in sleep. To think we made him, Diem whispered. Toan smiled, wrapping his arm around her shoulders. He's our greatest story so far. And with that, they turned off the light and walked away quietly, hand in hand, ready to face tomorrow, whatever it might bring.